It's almost like that. There's a wall there, that regional, and if you just bust through that wall, you can go. But that tells you something about UP basketball. You know, it's tough. So if you can bust through that wall.
Like, we were definitely like heavy favorites to win that one, and they definitely took that mentality into the first quarter. But
they came out pretty hot for the first quarter, but we stopped that pretty quick.
I think that was the game Brendan got hurt, and I had to play like the whole game. It was cool because it was a blowout, so I was kind of like, I wasn't really stressed.
It's crazy. It was an 18-0 run in the second quarter, and then second to third quarter it was like a 50-8 run in those middle two quarters, which is pretty outstanding, especially in a regional.
We don't have to score in 3 seconds, right? Great job. Let's finish it. Finish. 1, 2, 3.
With this season's team, I noticed that there was a certain telepathy between the players on that team this year. The way that they passed the ball, moved the ball, was I didn't see any team that had that kind of connection between the players. It was just telepathic. And I noticed that when we played them back in the 80s, it was the same way.
82, of course, we went to the state finals, but I really believe that my 80 team and my 81 team were capable of going all the way. But
that was the team that was supposed to go to the championship, the 81 team.
It started out, well, we knew we were going to be good because we had Bessie. You know, Bessie was a 4-year starter for me.
When I was a junior, we had a loaded team. Dennis Mackey, the coach of Gogebic now, Jim Anderson, David Johnson, Steve Gerber, myself, Whitey Anderson, Derek Stenson. We were loaded, and we should have won it in 81, and we got upset in the regional final. And the team that beat us was 11-11. Well, we were so angry when we started our senior year that we're like, this ain't gonna happen again.
I was a cheerleader in 1982 during that awesome season that we had. Loved game night. Couldn't wait to get to the gym. Our spot over in the far corner, waiting for the team to come on the floor, fans up on the bleachers in the stands, just ready to go. Loved the electricity.
Yeah, I would, if I could go back in time, one thing I would do is just go stand in that entryway down there, getting ready to come out to a game. We were ready for blood, boy. We were like cage lions.
You know, this was our gym, and this was our, you know, we're going to defend it. We fought to defend it. And I think, if I remember, we came out back to black, AC/DC.
Yep.
A lot of it was, yeah.
For those about to rock.
Yeah.
We had speakers in the locker room that were almost as tall as us, and we would just crank it. And I'm sure they could hear it out here.
For the game.
But going into 82, I don't think anybody expected what happened.
No.
Nope, they would have never guessed that.
Yeah.
We played out well together as a team, you know.
We were all different classes. These guys were, he was a junior. John, we were seniors. Yeah. Tim Pokus was a sophomore. It's not like this team this year, they had 5 seniors that started, and And after the game, you know, somebody would go snowmobiling, somebody would go to the bar or whatever, and somebody else would go lift weights for football. You know, the only time we came together was on the basketball court. It was unique.
We knew we were going to be decent but we were small. Derek Stenson, you'll see him later today, is my center. 6'1", maybe 6'1", if we stretch him. The other 4 starters were maybe 5'11". Sean Brown will argue with you because Sean was a junior starter on that team. He was about 5'8", but if he stood on his toes, he's about 6'4", so he had big feet. So we had a guy named Whitey Anderson that he had a motor that was going 150 miles an hour all the time. Bessie was our captain, but Whitey kind of ran the ship.
He knew that Whitey was our emotional leader, and he knew what everybody had to do. He put his size 13 shoe on one block, and is that what it is, 13?
Yeah, it was that. It's shrunk to a 12 now, but.
And our tallest guy on the other block, and so we knew we had those 2 spots covered.
They were small, but they were fast and quick, and we played defense. We just smothered people with our full court presses. And
it was when we win, not if we win, or I hope we win. We're going to win and find a way to get it done somehow. You know, every game's different. Some had a lot of turnovers. Some were just that we were like a well-oiled machine. Sometimes we just couldn't put the ball in the basket, so we had to depend on our defense. Every game was different, but we found ways to win, and it was just that desire that we had. I remember we had 6 close games, which is a lot.
Yeah. Ontonagon up there, we were down big at halftime.
20 at halftime.
Yeah, and yeah.
You know, as time goes on, the fish story gets bigger.
We were down, and yeah, we came back, and it's like we pressed them.
But I looked at the scorebook recently, and I think it was more like 12. We were down 12, but we'll say 20, down 20 at half.
The wall locker still got attached to the wall.
Yeah.
And he just was irate in the locker room. Bruce Whitey Anderson, and he was telling people, you know, you only have one job to do, and he threw a few expletives in there. But
one of them famous speeches.
I remember coming into this gym last game of the year, and we were going to be 20-0. They had a sign over there, the cheerleaders, 20-0 after this show. I'll never forget that, right over there. So anyway, and it was against Berga, and we blew them right out of this gym. A week later, we had to play them in districts, and they were good.
You just had that year where you didn't think we were going to lose. I certainly didn't think we were going to lose.
No, I don't think I ever remember going in.
I mean, I don't remember playing and thinking, oh my God, we're going to get wiped out of this game. No. I mean, like you said, like when we talked about wiping Berga here, 120 some points to 75, and then we're playing them, and I'm thinking, holy crap, you know, that was probably the first time I thought, you know, we might not win this game, but it always seemed like we could pull something out.
But we keep bringing up Berga because then in the finals of the district, we only won by 2. Yeah. So another close game. A sports writer said that we were a well-oiled machine, and I felt like that's how we were the first round of the regionals.
We knew we had to come out running and gunning because that's what we've done all year, and that's how our game fell together.
Dave Bessinen, in my opinion, I mean, I've seen a lot of basketball players play in the UP, and he's still the best I ever saw play. Any team, any level, his just all-around game. He was an incredible defensive player, ball handler, shot. I mean, he was a dead-eye shooter. And a lot of it came down, he was just really fast, very quick, but had an eye for the game. He was kind of like the Larry Bird of UP basketball that year.
Buckland, without a doubt, Dave Bessinen has to be one of the most exciting players ever in the Upper Peninsula.
The court across the street from our house behind the elementary school, when Dave Bessinen would drive his car over and he put in his AC/DC 8-tracks and roll down his windows and he would start shooting, I would run over there. Like I could hear his music and I would run over there and I would rebound. 7th grade, you know. Oh my God, Bessie's shooting, let's go rebound for him. That was like the coolest thing.
Many people feel like that if somebody can stop Dave Bessinen, they can stop the Uintrod Creek Panthers.
But then came Kearney. Scary.
That was a battle with the brothers.
Well, what they have, if they had
They had 61 or 68 points.
61,
61
yeah.
or 68 or 69 points.
They had two big kids, brothers, the Stage brothers, and they weren't just tall. They were shoulders like that, and they were big, strong boys. And we had a tough time with them.
It all came down to the fourth quarter, though, and for a while it looked like Trout Creek was going to lose in the regional finals for the third year in a row.
It came down to the last seconds of that game. In fact, we were behind, and the clock was going to run out. Shoot the ball, somebody shoot the ball, I'm screaming. Well, Tim Polk is a sophomore on that team. He shot the ball. The only trouble is he missed.
Taken back by Polkus, the sophomore. Polkus throws one up from 12. No good. Rebound, Stinson. No good. 2 seconds good. The game. Called it right here.
Derek had to tip one in at the end of the last second to put us into overtime.
We're trying to figure out what happened. The basket did count. We're going to overtime. What would you do if you were in that huddle right now? What are you telling these Trout Creek?
With his clipboard, there was no strategy, no nothing. It was, we're gonna win, we're gonna win. But that's when basketball was great, when they played the regional finals at Hedgecock Fieldhouse at Northern on a Saturday. I mean, the place was, to us, coming from this to Hedgecock Fieldhouse was like a coliseum.
And the final score in the Class D regional final, Trout Creek 74, Kearney NATO 69.
What was the previous regional final appearance that we had? How long ago was that?
09. 09 would have been our last one.
And that was one where we got worked over physically, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the big difference is weight room time, dedication in the off season of especially the guys in front. We'd always get there with skilled players and good shooters and just get bulled.
In regionals, I just had nothing but confidence in us.
What we put out there, that we were bigger than them and taller, more physical.
The only problem I think I had was that we might have over-prepared for North Central, but I still felt pretty comfortable with the guys on the floor, and Caden's a heck of a sixth man, so I trusted him to get the job done.
We went on a big run with Eric shooting, and then Eric was phenomenal that game. He never missed a shot in that game, it felt like.
Issues. You guys should trap this pocket. Weak side, they start running at you. Oh, it's rip time. All right? Yeah.
I would say ours is probably the most energetic bench that we have, that there is in the UP. Just with the bench energy when anything is going well, there's just an explosion of celebration, to the point where we even got a technical on that this year.
It was a blowout till about 3 minutes left, and then they hit a run and brought it within 9.
Save the slow start for the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just to make it interesting.
It's not even like it was like we didn't, like, they were just hitting shots at the end.
And
not easy shots.
Yeah. No, they were highly contested shots, but they weren't going down without a fight.
left here on a Monday or Tuesday and played that first game just below the bridge. We didn't get to take a charter bus. We had a school bus, Bus 80.
And if I remember, I think wasn't it a team vote that George drive for us because he drove all
Gorgeous George, yeah.
I don't remember.
He drove almost on all our away games and stuff.
I remember Dave Bessinen and I had always said, you know, if we get across the bridge, we'll sit together in that back seat. And sure enough, we rode across the Mackinac Bridge together, just a whirlwind week.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for us. Hi to my mom and dad and Jim and Faith. I tell you, we got one of the craziest bus rides in the world.
McDonald's was big for us because, you know, we don't have one around here. So we started Mc-talking like Mc-this. Everything was Mc-this and Mc-that, and we're gonna win the Mc game tonight, you know. And I think it was Timmy Pokus, it might have been somebody else, was on the bus, and I'll bleep this myself. He was on the bus and he was totally out sleeping. And somebody started messing with him, playing with his nose or whatever. And he woke up from a dead sleep and said, "Get the McBleep out of here."
Yeah, but we probably ate the majority of our meals at McDonald's.
Yep.
We had listened to the Billy Squire on 8-track tape all the way down, all the way back. Mark Ogren took that tape, threw it out the window. We had just had it.
We were still in our street clothes and just got off the bus, and the place was already loud and full, and they saw us walk by the entrance, and the place went nuts. And then the locker room was underneath the bleachers, and when you got under there, into the locker room, it was just like, I mean, if that doesn't fire you up, you don't need AC/DC to fire you up for that game. I mean, that was intense, and it was from the opening tip, every possession.
And it was a muscle game, you know, there's a lot of contact. Our kids might be small, but we're awful tough. They're used to beating those big guys or playing with them, and they did it one more time.
We played the semifinal at Lansing at Michigan State. Against Music.
It was over in the first 4 minutes. I mean, so, you know, the semifinals of the state, you'd think that'd be tough.
In our full court press, Bessinen scored like 8 points in 5 seconds. I read an article a couple months ago that said, "Oh, they didn't play defense in the 80s." What a bunch of BS that is. We won all our games on defense, on our full court presses.
Yeah, like Dave said, that game was over. They didn't get the ball across half court. When we walked in the Chrysler Arena, it was like wow. I think that's when it hit me. And
yeah, and it was sold out. Almost 13,000. I think there's 13,000 people at that game.
One thing about Panther fans, they have always traveled well. I don't know that there were very many people left to turn the lights off in you and Bruce Crossing, Trout Creek.
Because that's what you did back then. You'd drive all the way to Ann Arbor to go to a basketball game.
Jim Allen. Jim, how far did you come to travel here?
About 540 miles.
540 miles? How long have you been here?
Well, we've been staying in Bay City for the last 2 days.
That's all you hear is UP Power, and then, you know, the whole UP is like its own little community once the districts and that are over.
We were following them and we supported them because that was the thing, is that once you were out of it, you wanted a UP team to do well. There was that UP power. We were all very jealous, obviously, because we wanted to be there, but we weren't that good.
All season long, Trout Creek has been dwarfed in size, but somehow going into last night's finals of the Class D tournament in Ann Arbor, they were still undefeated. The bell finally tolled for the Panthers and a team called Covert. which could equal them in quickness and outmatch them in size.
Oh boy, Covert was big.
Into Sean going down, and there's the dunk the other end of the floor by Wilhite.
We had a bad start.
I really didn't feel well in the beginning of that game. Not that I was sick, this isn't going well. My legs were rubbery and I missed a lot of shots. And
15 to play, looking, set, it wouldn't go.
He didn't miss any after that, but he missed the first 7 or 8 shots he had.
And then after the first 3-4 minutes, I got into it and felt like myself again. But if I had hit a couple shots in the beginning there, it would have been a different story, I think.
And it's stolen by Besson inside it. He gets a gift at the buzzer.
He ended up with 38, and that was pretty neat send-off for him because there were 13,000 people there. They gave him a standing ovation when I took him out.
Tonight, you got to give them all the credit in the world. It's the best of Michigan high school basketball right there.
Why do I get like that?
Now Brian Anderson has it. Back to Dave Bessinen. Good pick and roll. Beautiful play.
We had them bothered with our stacked press. They didn't know what the hell to do with it. But we got in foul trouble. We got, I think Sean Brown and Brian Anderson both got early foul trouble, so we had to back out of our press. And that hurt our game plan.
They're a gutty ball club. They haven't come this far to lay down and die. They've won 27 straight ball games, and they are a very talented basketball team.
And we always said if we ran into a team that was big and could run the floor like we run the floor, was going to give us problems.
The best team in Class D. We always said if we get beat, we want to get beat by a team that's better than us, and tonight I think we got beat by a team that was better than us.
They'd penetrate, our zone press, we'd be pressing them, and they'd take one step and they'd be by, and we just had to hustle our rears off on the way back.
When it was all over with, the Panthers were defeated 105-94 in the finals of the Class D tournament.
Even though they lost, it was the highest scoring state championship game in history. It was just an offensive juggernaut from both teams. Covert just won out because they had the height and their guys could dunk and rebound a little bit better. But beyond that, they held their own with them. It was an amazing game.
That trip that those kids went on that year to get to go to a state championship, that's what I wanted every kid that ever played for me. I wanted them to have that experience. When we came home, when we hit Kenton, wow, the whole bus was full of tears. I remember that.
Duncan Township pulled their fire truck across the road so we couldn't get through. Things were put on the bus that probably shouldn't have been put on the bus from Hoppies, and then we came here. And we're all in, we're dressed well compared to how we showed up here. We're in sweatshirts and sweatpants, and we've been on the bus all day long. Our hair's all messed up, and there's packed. And, they wanted to hear from us.
Those are the memories.
And they didn't care that we lost the game.
We didn't talk about the game. They talked about the trip.
Just get the ball and people are all ready. Shoot, you're open. Otherwise, like Daly's or someone's helping you pass someone.
Yeah. Come out of that half. He'd go up there and then go play ball on the weekends.
Golf and a lot of targets.
And then they put their subs in and we were like, okay. That was one of the best feelings.
It's a great feeling. We have so much confidence. We worked so hard for this. I think we're ready. We're ready. We've been playing since we were really little, so this feels great.
I was very excited to hold that trophy up. It was a little bit bigger than district final trophy, so When I held that one up, I was like, damn, this is crazy.
We're in the state tournament now.